Bonjour tout le monde. I'm so sorry that I cannot be there with you guys today. I am in a professional development and I would love to be with you guys, but I am not able to be today. So, we are going to power forward because we have a lot to learn and we only have a few weeks, like 2.5 weeks until we start reviewing for our final and then taking finals. So, we have no time to waste. So, this was your bell work. You should have answered the question, Qu'est-ce que tu as fait pour le Thanksgiving? Hopefully you made some beautiful sentences. Moi, j'ai dormi pendant le Thanksgiving. J'ai regardé plusieurs films. J'ai rendu visite à ma famille. Et j'ai mangé beaucoup. Okay. I hope you guys did too. I hope you had a nice time off. Okay, so today you should have in front of you your passé composé avec être note-taking guide, which the sub should have given to you. And that is your very last note-taking guide for 2016, which is very exciting. You should also have what is called a substitute packet for le 29 Novembre. And that is going to help you kind of get through exercises that we would be doing as a class, but you guys are going to do more independently today. Okay, so let's start off. Today we're learning passé composé avec être. You have already learned passé composé with avoir. Now you're going to learn it with être. There are certain verbs that take être as our helping verb instead of avoir, like we have been doing. Okay, there have been times where you said, Mademoiselle, can I say this? And I've said, not yet. Now you guys are going to be able to have the full extent of passé composé. This is pretty exciting. All right. So, first thing you are going to need to do is on your passé composé avec être note-taking guide, we need to fill in how to conjugate être. Very important. Okay, so go ahead and fill it in with me. Hopefully you guys know how to do this really easily. Je suis, tu es, il en allait, nous sommes, vous êtes. It's going to make it little on mine. And ils en sont. Don't forget your accent on vous êtes, by the way. So make sure you guys have those filled in. If at any time in this video you need a little bit more time or you need me to repeat something, go ahead and just go back in the video. I'm sure you guys know how to do that. All right, now I want you to flip over to your substitute packet and you'll see that I have the subject pronouns written out 4 different times. Okay, I would like you to conjugate être 4 different times. Normally we would do this in our verb races, but we are not going to do that today. So you are going to, with your table group, if you would like to race them, that would be totally fine. If you guys want to set up a little timer on your phones or something like that to race each other 4 different times to conjugate être really fast, or you can just go ahead and conjugate it out, and that's fine. So go ahead and pause me and do that for a second. All right, now we are back together, and we are on page 1 of our passé composé avec être. So hopefully we've got être down pat, and now we're going to keep on going. So it says, well, right under where you conjugated être, I'm starting to talk about how you've seen avoir as your helping verb in the past, okay? I've always told you you have to have avoir in your sentence when you're writing in the past, but now you're going to see être as our helping verb instead of avoir. Just like with avoir, you're going to have your helping verb in every sentence before the past participle. So the formula for a sentence using être is still the same as it would be with avoir. Look at our little boxes right there. We have our subject plus être plus our past participle. All right, so the only thing that's really changing is the fact that instead of using avoir now, we're using être. Okay, this used to be avoir right here. Now, the thing with avoir, or the thing with être that is different than avoir is the past participle is going to change a little bit depending on the subject. Okay, so if the subject is feminine, the past participle is going to look different than if the subject is masculine. And we'll explain how that works in just a second. But that is why we do avoir first and then être, because it's just a little more complex. Okay? So stay with me. When you create a sentence with être, your helping verb, the past participle changes, be it masculine, feminine, or plural. So let's start with this verb aller. Okay? When we used it in the past, it takes the helping verb être, not the helping verb avoir. I'm not sure why certain verbs take être and certain verbs take aller, just the way, or certain verbs takes avoir. It's just the way life is, okay? So we're starting with aller. You guys know what aller means, so go ahead and write it on the blank. Aller means To go. Very good. And our past participle is aller. A-L-L-E, accent aigu, which makes sense because it's an ER verb, and we know ER verbs go to E accent aigu. All right? In the future, in the next few days, you guys are going to learn lots of verbs that take être as the helping verb. But today only, we are focusing on aller, okay? So now we are going to know how to say I went, you went, he went, she went, they went, we all went, etc. Okay? In each one of these sentences, you're going to see être. So I'm breaking them up into the how the past participle looks in the masculine form and in the feminine form. Okay, so I'm going to have you guys start in that column that says masculine and follow along with me. So if I want to say I went, but I'm a guy, I would say je suis allé. So go ahead and write allé in there. That means I went as a guy. All right, so we didn't change anything to the past participle. Still looks the same. Easy peasy. If I want to say you went, and maybe I'm talking to Luca, then you could say tu es allé, because we're talking to a boy. Okay. If I want to say he went, I would say il est allé. So you'll notice that être is in every single one of these, and for now, the past participle hasn't changed from what I told you it was. It looks just the same, so that's pretty easy. Now if I want to say we went, and I'm talking about a group of boys, or I'm talking about a mixed group, girls and guys, and I want to say we went, okay, I would say nous sommes allés, and I add an S, okay, because it's plural, because there's more than one person. So make sure you change that in the past participle. If I want to say you all went, and say I'm talking about the whole class, because that's a mixed group, then I want to use this masculine form, and I would add an S. Okay, or if I was talking about a group of guys, you all went, as in the guys went. Okay, I would add an S. But if I'm just saying you formal went, say I'm talking to the President Obama, I would say vous êtes allé without the S. Okay, the S is in parentheses here for a reason, because if you're talking about you all, you would need the S. If you're talking about you formal, you would not need the S. Okay, and then if I want to say they went, if I'm talking about Alexandre and Vincent, okay, they went, then I would say ils sont allés. Okay, that one gets an S as well because it's masculine plural. So the very first sentence after that box says if your subject is masculine, you don't need to add anything to the past participle. So if it's masculine and singular, like je suis allé, tu es allé, il est allé, all referring to men, then you add nothing to the past participle. It stays the same. Okay, go over to the feminine side now. If I want to say I went, I am a woman, so I would say je suis allée, and I put an extra E on there. If I want to say you went, and I'm speaking to Naomi, I would say tu es allée, with an extra E, because she is a girl. So feminine, you add an E. If I want to say she went, I would say elle est allée. She also gets another E. If I want to say we went, and I'm talking about Simone et Léa et moi, I would say nous sommes allés with an E and an S. Okay, because it's a group of girls, and there's more than one, so we have E and S that we add to those guys. If I want to say you went formal to a woman, if you're saying that to me, you would say vous êtes allés. If I want to say you all went, and I'm referring to Emily, Josephine, et Simone, I would say vous êtes allés. Okay, you add an E and an S. So the S again, once again, is optional. It depends if we're talking about you all or you formal. Always going to have an E though, because we're referring to a group of girls. If I want to say they went, and I'm referring to Marine, Brigitte, et Mia, I'm talking about them, I would say elles sont allées. So that one would have an E and an S on the end. Okay? Because it's feminine and plural. So in those little two sentences at the end of that page, I want you to fill in the blanks. If your subject is feminine, you need to add an E to the past participle. For right now, our past participle is aller. In a day or so, I'm going to give you some more past participles. If your subject is plural, you need to add an S to the past participle. Okay, so that would be for nous, vous, as in y'all, ils, or elles. Okay. So flip the page on your passé composé avec être note-taking guide. Now, we are going to talk just briefly about how to make a sentence negative with the passé composé of être because it's very, very simple. Making a past tense sentence negative is the same whether with être or avoir, so it's the same formula. So go ahead and fill in this formula. We should have subject plus ne plus être plus pas plus our past participle. So the ne pas still goes around that helping verb. Remember, before it went around avoir, now it's going around être. So I want you to pause me for a second and try to translate those three sentences. I didn't go to the pool, Elodie and Julie didn't go to school, and Mark and I didn't go to the countryside. Okay? Those are all talking about having gone or went somewhere, so you're going to use aller and être, and you're going to have a ne pas in each one of them. So go ahead and try those on your own for a second. Okay, so for number one, you should have I didn't go to the pool. Je ne suis pas allé à la piscine. Now, if I was writing this sentence, I would have this extra E in there. If Thomas is writing this sentence, he would not have this extra E in there because he is a boy. Okay? So that kind of depends on who is listening to this right now. But our ne pas is still around être. That's good. Elodie et Julie ne sont pas allées à l'école. This one should have an E and an S because Elodie and Julie are both girls. And it's plural, right? There are more than one of them. So we need an E and S. And then we have Marc et moi ne sommes pas allés à la campagne. So we did not go to the countryside. The E, we only need to add an S here. Doesn't matter if you are a girl or a boy, because if you were a boy, it would be Mark and another guy, and that would still add no E. And if you're a girl, it's a mixed group, so we would still add no E. But we do need an S because there's more than one of us. All right? Okay, so I want you guys to go ahead and go over now to your substitute packet. And you should see on that first page some blue sentences, okay? I want you to write out that the following people went. You are going to change être and aller based on the given subject. Depending on whether or not you are a boy or a girl, your answers may differ from the people around you, and that's okay. If you're included in the group, your answers may be a little bit different. But you may, of course, work on these sentences with someone around you to help you out. My example is Claude and Paul. If I gave you that as a subject, well, that would be two boys, so it would be ils with an S on the end. Ils sont allés. So you would have your past participle and just add an S because we don't add an E if it's boys. We just add an S if it's plural. So I want you to go ahead and write those sentences depending on the subject. And when you are finished with that, come back to me. All right, so hopefully you guys had a pretty good time writing those sentences. It shouldn't be too hard. The next activity I just wanted to explain to you because it's a little bit easier to explain in words than in writing, okay? So you should see on your second page of your substitute packet, you should see a box that looks like this, okay? You are going to create, you're going to pick 8 different subjects and create some descriptions about them, okay? So there's one box that says qui, there's one box that says où, and one box that says quoi, okay? So for each person, you are going to choose a place where they went and what they did there, okay? So you see I have 1 through 8 numbered on your page right there, and for each one I have 2 lines. So for each subject that you pick, you're going to pick 8 different subjects, you're going to have 2 sentences about that person. The first person, or the first thing should be pulled from the où category, and the second sentence should be pulled from the quoi category, the what category. So let's look at the example together. If I pulled qui, if the first subject I pulled was Juliette, okay, I then need to go pick a place. Where was Juliette? Okay, I picked chez les voisins. So I say Juliette est allée chez les voisins. So she went to the neighbors. Okay, you're just saying where they went. I have et because that's how I conjugate être for Juliette. And then aller needs an extra E because Juliette is a girl. So she went to the neighbor's house. And then I go over to the orange box for the second sentence and figure out what could she have done at the neighbor's house. Well, she could have been babysitting. So faire du babysitting. So elle a fait du babysitting. Here's the thing. On the second sentence, you are always going to have avoir as your helping verb. Okay, this is what we were doing right before break. And then you're going to need to make the verb in the quoi box a past participle. So er verbs are going to go to e accent aigu. Faire goes to fait. It's your regular. Remember, voir is vous. And prendre is also irregular. It's pris. Okay, so I need you to create 2 sentences for each subject that make sense. So your first sentence will use être as the helping verb because you're going to use aller. So Juliette est allée chez les voisins. And the second sentence you'll use avoir as the helping verb because you're using verbs from this quoi box. Okay, you may certainly work with your partner to kind of help you through those. Or you may work independently. It does not matter to me. So go ahead and do those 8 different sentences and then come back to me whenever you're finished. Okay, so hopefully those sentences were not too difficult. And now we are going to move on to our last little part of notes today. Okay, so you're back in your note-taking guide. You're under where we did ne pas with être. And now you see les expressions de temps. Okay, so you should see a box that says, or a title that says les expressions de temps, and then underneath, how many do you already know? All right. So let's define these first few. So maintenant, avant, and après. Maintenant means now, avant means before, and après means after. So go ahead in the little blank space to the right of each one of them. Go ahead and define them. Write those definitions. Maintenant, now, avant, before, après, after. Okay, now, under that, you should know these guys too. Aujourd'hui means today, hier, yesterday, and demain, tomorrow. Now, for the next part, I'm only going to have you write the English in the left column, under the column that says maintenant and aujourd'hui, and after that, I'm going to have you write the time of day. Okay, it'll make sense in just a second. So, ce matin, I want you to define it in the box as this morning. Okay. So now in the next box, I want you to write hier. I want you to write matin because hier is already there. And you don't need to define it probably because hier matin, if ce matin is this morning and hier is yesterday, then hier matin is yesterday morning. And I want you to write matin after demain as well. So demain matin would, of course, then mean tomorrow morning. Next one is cet après-midi, this afternoon. So I want you to fill in hier après-midi, yesterday afternoon, and demain après-midi, tomorrow afternoon. And finally, I want you to fill in ce soir means tonight or this evening. You can write both of those definitions. And if that's the case, then hier soir means last night or yesterday evening. And demain soir means tomorrow night. Okay, now we're going to go down to the box underneath. All right, lundi was just chosen randomly. It can be any day of the week for all of these, of course. So lundi, we all know, means Monday. Lundi dernier means last Monday. And lundi prochain means next Monday. So this is the same kind of concept. On the left, we're going to write the English in the left column. And on the middle column and the right column, we're going to write the time of day, okay? So ce weekend means this weekend. And I want you to fill in dernier for this one. So le weekend dernier would mean last weekend. Le weekend prochain means next weekend. So you fill in prochain and dernier. Next, we have cette semaine means this week. That is the feminine form of this, cette, C-E-T-T-E, because it is, semaine is feminine, which is why dernière and prochaine change spelling, so be careful here. La semaine dernière means last week, and la semaine prochaine means next week. Just make sure you spell them correctly. Then we have ce mois, which means this month. And le mois dernier, it's last month. Le mois prochain, next month. Back to the masculine spelling. Then we have cet été, and you could have any season, but usually we talk about summer because we're talking about the long holiday break. So cet été is this summer. Then we have l'été dernier, means last summer, and l'été prochain is next summer. And finally, we have cette année is this year. And you've seen year before, but not in this context. When we say year, as in this year or in the last year, we always spell it this way, with the two N's and the E with that accent and another E. So l'année dernière, we back to the feminine spelling, would be last year, and l'année prochaine with the feminine spelling is next year. All right, I want you, once you've gotten that pause all filled in, you may have had to pause me. I know I went through that quickly. I want you to try to fill in those 3 example sentences, okay? I really want you to try this on your own, so pause me and try these, and then you can come back and check your answers. You're going to put in the time frame, and then you're going to use one of our être and aller sentences. So pause me. All right, so number 1, last week she went to the movies. La semaine dernière, elle est allée au cinéma. So we have last week, la semaine dernière, spelled correctly. Elle est allée au cinéma. And aller has an extra E because it's elle. And remember, we can always change these around. We could say for number 2, I know it says yesterday morning, Julian and Mark went to the lake, but you could also say Julian and Mark went to the lake yesterday morning, which is what I did. So Julien et Marc sont allés au lac hier matin. The hier matin could also have gone at the beginning of the sentence if you chose. Okay? Julien et Marc sont allés. So they're both boys. We don't need to add an extra E. And we add an S because it's plural. Did we remember how to say lac? Ooh. And lastly, last year you, referring to a girl, went to the store. L'année dernière, tu es allé au magasin. You went to the store. Allé needs an extra E because we're referring to a girl. Excellent. So now that we have those sentences done, I want to direct you to go to your sub packet for a second. You're on your 3rd page of your sub packet. At the top it says, after finishing the expression de temps sentences, go get a white textbook in the back of the room, all right? When you get that textbook, I want you to turn to page 128 and 129. You are going to read 4 passages about the 4 girls and figure out the name of each girl. So our possible names are Ariane, Beatrice, Florence, and Michelle, okay? So you guys have to read the 4 different passages, read them slowly and carefully, so you can figure out which girl is which, okay? At the top of page 129, there are clues to help you out to figure out this puzzle, okay? In one of the clues, they say that on samedi dernier, one of them did not spend money. So dépenser d'argent that's what that means, didn't spend money, okay? You'll see that in the white box at the top of 129 when it's giving you the clues, okay? My hint to you is to start with figuring out the name of the girl who didn't spend any money last Saturday. If that's the easiest one to figure out. So once you get her, then you've narrowed it down to 3 other girls, okay? I do want you to read this alone first. I want you to read the 4 passages alone and try to figure out the girls on your own. And then once you've given yourself some time figuring it out, then you can check with a partner, okay? I want you to write just right there, say girl number 1, what's her name? Girl number 2, what's her name? Okay? But I do want you to practice reading on your own because we are going to have reading next on your final, okay? So this is good practice for you guys. If you finish early with all of this and you still have plenty of time in class, I would love for you to start making flashcards with either this new grammar, our old grammar that you might have forgotten, or even our old vocabulary from some of those other note-taking guides because finals are coming up, you guys. You may also go on to Quizlet to make these flashcards if you don't want to make them on paper. That's totally fine with me. Okay? So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I will see you tomorrow. À demain. Au revoir. Merci.